Thank you for joining me, Anna.
Thank you, Nell.
It's fantastic to have you here, and we were absolutely delighted to see the success of your green bond issuance. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Sure. So what a green bond is a labelled issuance. So that means that all of the debt that we raise for the green bond will be used to fund environmental projects.
Can you tell us what some of those projects are?
I can. So the green bond is actually going to be funding 3 types of environmental projects, and they all relate to climate change and improving environmental outcomes. So the first is around climate change mitigation, so trying to avoid adding to the climate change issue. Climate change adaptation, which is around creating opportunities for people to deal with climate change when it does happen. And then the third goal is around improving environmental outcomes. So that's around saving the koalas or protecting the Great Barrier Reef.
So Anna, the roadshow for this deal covered the world's biggest financial centres. Can you tell us, what's the view from international investors on Australia's progress on climate?
Yeah, so the view from international investors was quite broad. There were some investors who were very comfortable with where Australia was going in regards to the transition away from coal and our move towards net zero. So they were very supportive and could see what the Australian government was trying to achieve with their policies and with the green bond. And then there were other investors who were thinking that Australia was still moving too slowly, so they had some pretty strong opinions around the phasing out of coal. And so we needed to sort of explain to them some of the policy approaches that the government had. So it was a pretty intense line of questioning overall.
Yeah, no, I can imagine it's certainly a hot topic with divergent views, so it must have been fascinating conversations.
It was indeed, particularly because you also get their perspective as well, and having to then explain the context, the Australian context, was also a fun part of the conversation.
I anticipate that having our sovereign start issuing green bonds, it'll be very helpful for the development of the sustainable finance market in Australia more broadly. Do you think that's the case?
I think so, and that's certainly one of our key policy objectives of the green bond, is actually to support the domestic market. So the Australian states have been issuing green bonds for a number of years, and having the sovereign now in the market just builds that credibility and really boosts the scale of the market. And so what we're hoping is that having a AAA sovereign issuing a green bond means that we'll have even more international investors participating in the green bond market in Australia.
So Anna, what would you say to an Australian corporate issuer considering embarking upon a green bond program?
I think the first thing is that corporates have very different considerations to a government. They don't have that policy overlay. If a corporate was going to look at doing a green bond, I guess I would have 2 pieces of advice. The first one is around resourcing. So actually setting up a green bond takes a lot of time and a lot of resourcing. And then when you actually issue the green bond, there is the reporting and that comes after the green bond, and that also requires a lot of effort. So I would encourage corporates to sort of think about that resourcing piece, and also some of the risks that come with issuing a green bond, particularly if you do not deliver what you say you're going to deliver. That could actually be more detrimental to a corporate's brand than actually being a benefit.
Well, we are very excited to see the progress, and congratulations again, Anna. I mean,
Thank
phenomenal success. The deal was 3 times oversubscribed. We know investors want more, so I'm sure your future program will also be equally successful.
Thank you very much.